Fashion and technology has always been intertwined, but in recent years, this relationship has become even closer. With the advent of new technologies like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, DTG and DTF printing, and new advances in the embroidery industry, the world of fashion is being transformed in ways many of us have never imagined. Now, this year, we decided to expand our knowledge of fashion and technology by attending the ISS Show in Long Beach, California. Now, if you've been in the game for a while, then I'm sure you've probably heard of the name of American Apparel. Now, we were surprised to see them making a comeback with their new line of black, tight-knit t-shirts. They were actually doing some screen print samples, so it was actually really good to see them back doing what they do best. If you're in the business of t-shirt printing, you know that there are many ways to print on fabric. Now, one of the more appealing processes I've been testing is direct-to-film, also known as DTF. DTF printing is a process where the ink is directly printed onto a film and then transferred to the fabric by using the heat press. This allows for a wider range of fabrics to be printed on and can also produce vibrant and long-lasting prints. Now, while visiting the ISS show, we had the opportunity to talk to some industry professionals about the printing technology and even how to make a profit if you decided to buy your own DTF setup.
Yeah, this is a bit of a process. You'll see that in some of the other booths where they're printing it on a water jet-based system, and then as it comes out, they apply the adhesive on the back, shake off the rest, and then they put it through a dryer and bakes it. And then you've got your official transfer ready to then heat stamp like I just gave you. So you're looking at entry level. There's some small machines out there. They're like about 6,500, but that doesn't include the dryer. So all said and done, you're going to be into it at least 10 to 12,000 if you're doing it yourself. We do have a sample a swatch book of our materials that we give out to people that are interested in our products. As far as like the DTF transfers, our minimum order is $25, and you can achieve that by multiple pieces of art. Right. So, if you do 10 of one and 10 of another and 10 of another, as long as it gets to $25, so you can do small runs.
The beautiful thing about these shows is that so much variety, and when it comes to your fashion journey or wherever you're at as far as your business is concerned, whether you want to just print garments yourself or if you want to be the person that's printing garments for somebody else's brand or clothing line or what have you, there's so much variety out there. So we decided to go and talk to a couple more DTF printers and find out what they had to say about the process and the pricing.
So the name of the company is Works. We're doing direct-to-film on a 24-inch direct-to-film. We started this company we wanted to have a machine that actually literally worked for the customer. That was going to be backed by support. So our machine comes with a 24-month warranty on it, on the machine itself, and a whole year on the actual print head. It's all backed. We have them in stock, so we're not using your money to buy the printer and get it over here. They are ready to ship. And we really were just designed because I have a shop myself as well that my workers work in, and having a quality equipment that when you need help, you can get help. But when you go in the shop in the morning, you're gonna be able to turn it on. It's gonna work. So that's kind of that was the why behind why we got started. The quality is very good. So when you have a direct-to-film and it's done right, as far as with the process, you're not gonna get the cracking and that type of the fading after you're going through and you're doing the washes. So when it's printing on the film, it's printing the CMYK, then you got the white, then it gets powdered, and that's actually going to be a base. So that way, when you actually place it onto the shirt, it's actually sitting onto something. When you start looking at direct-to-garment, we got to pre-treat the garment first, and then you spray it. It's actually literally bonding to the material on the shirt. So that way, when you wash it, it is going to start to wash and start to fade. Just a little bit, but it really just depends on what's that taste is that you're looking for. So let's say with just a printer right here. So this printer, in order for every roll of film that you get, you're going to go through about 3 bottles of white, third of the bottle of each of the CMYKs, 15 and 5 bags of powder. Your total cost for all that is going to be $696.64. Now, now how do I price my transfer? So let's say I'm selling transfers directly to the end consumer. So to my customer. Now I'm looking here. All right, we know the big dogs in the industry, the biggest dog, they're charging $8.64 per square foot. When you start looking at some of the other companies that are in the space, they start breaking it down. All right, if you buy 50 of them, you're going to get it for, let's say, $4.14 per square foot, et cetera, et cetera. So if you price your stuff at $4 per square foot, your overall cost is $1.16 per square foot. you're going to profit $1,704 per roll of film. Right, so that's after this. So now, what you want to do, business person, you're taking that $696 and you buying what? Another roll of film, another 3 whites. You know what I'm saying? Another same white. So you're putting that in there. So when you start looking at, all right, this $1,700, how much of that is a true profit? And you do have to know the rest of your business as far as looking at, again, electric, water, internet, cable, insurance. If you actually have a spot. It's just all those different things. If you're working out of your home, you still need to be doing that, taking a percentage of your home, and like, all right, whether it's electric, so 33% of my electric bill is going towards my business. So now you can incorporate that in here, and then that way you can start using a method. It was a book I read. It's called Profits First, and now you take and you start putting that into there too. So now you start paying yourself. Because what we often do, I'm guilty as charged too. When you first were starting a business, you never pay yourself. You're always putting it back into the business, so now you're not valuing your time. So now when that customer comes to you and says, hey, how much are your prints? Oh, they $4 per square foot. Oh, that's too high. I can get them for $3 right here. And now you start lowering your price. You hadn't even paid yourself yet. You know what I'm saying? So now you start to go through, and now it's the hustling backwards piece. One of the things that I always tell people is I tell them like the grind piece is like, stop grinding, right? We always think, oh, I'm on my grind. But it's like, you think about, what do they call it? They call it cash flow or cash grind? Cash flow. So you got to flow. You start looking at the most powerful force on earth, you start looking at the ocean, and it flows. Ebbs and flows, right? So I'm going to really start getting people in there, like seeing that, having money flow in, knowing what channel it's going to, and acting accordingly.
So direct to film is definitely an impressive process, and it was really dope that Quentin was able to give us a real-life breakdown of how to make a profitable business using DTF printing. Now, as mentioned earlier, DTG or direct-to-garment printing is a process where the ink is directly printed onto the garment, and like DTF, it does not have the limitations of color that most previous screen printers may have due to color separation. Both DTF and DTG allow for a more detailed and precise print. Now, M&R had a very impressive DTG setup. We were told that they are actually able to print 250 shirts per hour with their machines. Direct-to-garment is widely used by dropshipping companies like Printful and Printify, which are great options for startup clothing brands and artists looking to sell merch. I'll leave a link below for those who would like to try them out, as well as links to all the companies featured in this documentary. To learn more about Printful and Printify, you should check out how I created a t-shirt and hoodie design for my clothing brand after you finish this video. Another technique that helps merge art and fashion is the sublimation process. Sublimation is a digital computer printing technique that uses heat to transfer dye on a material such as plastic, cards, paper, or fabric, usually polyester or a polyester mix. You've most likely seen sublimation garments imitate patterns and also display a great amount of artistic freedom in clothing garments.
This is your mid format. It's the 24-inch wide, and so it will print out on 24-inch rolls. To go beyond this would be to go to something that is like 44 or 62 inches wide, and they would call that wide format.
So to do something like what I would have on, I would have to like cut it and then like sew it back together pretty much.
Yeah, if you really want to get it perfect, because if you go ahead and start with a shirt that's already pre-sewn, you're going to get white spots in the armpits and in the creases, because anything that's not laid perfectly flat, it's not going to take the ink. Okay. So if you actually want legitimate cut and sew, you have to start with the raw fabric. And so you print the image basically like if you've got a pattern and it's a recurring pattern that's just all over it, what's going to end up happening is you're going to print it out as a continuous piece on the roll. And then you're going to take an equal sized piece of fabric to lay that printed image off the paper on top of, and you gas it into the fabric with the heat press. Okay. So then you're left with a completely dyed custom piece of fabric. From there, you need to cut out all the shapes. You need to stitch it together and then make the shirt. But to do that, you won't have any creases, you won't have any white spots anywhere on the shirt. Because like with sublimation, nobody wants something that doesn't have a flawless image on it. If it's going to be full bleed, it needs to actually be. So it's fun to do full bleed shirts when they're already done and stitched up. Okay. But if you want the complete look, it really needs to start with raw fabric.
Well, we do sublimation and cut and sew manufacturing. We make hoodies, jackets, shorts, robes, anything that has to do with the apparel business. All over printing, roll to roll printing, fabrics, So, we've been doing it for about 5 years. I made the doggy style jacket for Snoop, worked with Chris Brown's mother and auntie for their shop, Chris Brown official site, Gladys Knight, Genuine. So we create for a few different people.
For anybody that's a fan of screen printing, I completely understand why. Screen printing has been one of the main go-tos for quality t-shirts as long as I can remember. But now it seems like these other processes are equally as good as screen printed garments. Now, M&R is a company that has had a very impressive display of hybrid screen prints being made with detail that absolutely blew me away. One of my favorite looks in fashion come from layering to stay warm, so jackets and hoodies immediately come to mind. And with that comes embroidery and patchwork. Now, a few companies caught my eye from the amazing advances that Tajima has made with their technology, actually incorporating thread that is dyed while it embroiders to give you custom colors and save time on changing out the thread.
What's happening is going through a process that dyes the thread. Whatever color you want, whatever grading you want, it also washes the thread and dries it, and at the end lubricates it, then it embroiders it, all in one process.
The complexity of some of these jackets and patches were absolutely mind-blowing. Game Sportswear Jackets actually had a King T'Challa Black Panther jacket that cost over $400 just to create. Now, this was due to the hand-stitched embroidery on the jacket along with the leather accents. So the price point to sell something like that would be well over $1,000 for that kind of quality work. Quality Punch was another company that caught my eye with their amazing patchwork, which included 3D elements and flawless execution. We also stopped by Magna Prints to see some of the new cutting-edge print techniques that will be probably seen very soon in the fashion world, some of which were so smooth I couldn't believe it was actually printed on fabric. This show definitely has me excited and inspired to use these techniques to create a new collection that takes BLMTD to the next level. Now, we can't talk about fashion and technology without mentioning the emergence of NFTs in fashion. We are entering the space by combining music, art, animation, film, and fashion, which I always felt like they were all branches of the same tree. Every major animated cartoon or feature that ever moved me pulled from all of these different elements. One recent example was Arcane, which combined the music of Imagine Dragons and JID with amazing visuals, brilliant storytelling, and breathtaking animation. And now the fashion industry is taking a step further into the metaverse with the advent of non-fungible tokens or NFTs. NFTs allow for digital ownership and scarcity of one-of-a-kind items like virtual fashion and opens up a whole new world of possibilities for fashion designers and consumers. If you enjoy content like this, let me know in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you're interested in learning more about the behind-the-scenes process of creating fashion, music, animation, or art, be sure to join our Patreon tribe by joining the community. You'll have access to exclusive tutorials, workflows, behind-the-scenes footage that will take your creativity to the next level. And for anyone who is interested in learning how to create your own t-shirts or hoodie designs, check out this video and hopefully we can assist you on your journey. I'll see you next in that video.